everybody. My name is Omar Mohammed, helping everybody improve and progress in business and in life. This is our fourth annual RISE Summit. For those who are not familiar with RISE stands for Returning Citizens Inspired to Develop Entrepreneurial Ventures. I know they're all equal, but equal to us. So we've been doing this now for 4 years. So today, as you can see, the agenda is there. And this year's theme is all about invisible bars, using entrepreneurship to reduce recidivism. So I'm glad to be a part of this. So in the panelists, these are making your way to the floor. So we can get DJ. Okay, DJ. So I guess I'm the first person, DJ. All right. So we're waiting on one other panelist. So let me just do a real check. So did everybody park in the garage? Nobody's parked in the circle. Great. All right. So we all good. All right. So we're going to wait for him to get back, but while we're waiting on him, I'm going to actually do a couple of things. I do want to recognize the team that we have here. Team that practice. Yeah. Team Danielle. Team Imani. Yes. Team Drew.
Yeah, got it.
You already had DJ chances. And we also are, I don't know what you call this. So we call it, so we're going to actually see this in living color. Is that?
See in color.
I know they see in color, y'all, but what's the method called?
Graphic reporting.
There we go. Why did I know that? So we also going to be graphic recording as well. All right, so pay attention to the board, where it is down, and as we go along today. We also, this is the first year that we're going to do a pitch competition, so I believe we have pitch contestants. So I'm looking forward to hearing those opportunities. And one of the things that we said is we wanted individuals who are working to reduce recidivism. So we want those individuals who pitch their idea to help reduce recidivism. So that's what this panel is about today as well. So we're looking forward to that. And we also going to give out some awards. So I do have to say, can we go to the next slide, James, please? Yeah. So Tashika is not going to be here, nor will his sister be here. Their truck broke down today, and they didn't feel it. I was going to send an Uber if she was around the corner, but she didn't feel it. Alright? So she's not going to be here. But we have a placement for her on the panel. We still going to recognize them for their award. So we're still going to go do that. Alright, so let's just jump right into it. And we're going to kick it off with the panel discussion as Levon comes in and go ahead and introduce himself. Alright, so you know who I am. Let me introduce you to the co-moderator. He's been around for the beginning. I just remember, I can't remember what year it is. It was 2013. So 2013, a group of us, myself, Dr. Paul Archibald, Howard Wicker, and Jonathan Moore. That's right. Jonathan Moore. We all got together and we said, how do we work with formerly incarcerated individuals? I knew that. Well, actually, we knew that. We really didn't know each other. I had an advisory board, and one of the advisory board, they would say, you need to be Dr. Paul Archibald. So we met and we started talking about how do we begin to work with formerly incarcerated individuals. And then we met this guy called Howard Wicker. You'll learn more about Howard Wicker later on. But Howard Wicker was, he understood how to work with formerly incarcerated individuals. individuals. And then Jonathan Moore was, he's an entrepreneur, and he was dealing more in the tech space, but he also dealt with environmental justice as well. So the four of us, we got together, and we came up with RIDE back in 2013. But RIDE was something different back then, you know, and we kind of switched it up. We went to the Minority Disability Agency, who is funded, who we're funded by. So I guess I should say that at the beginning, but we're funded by them. So Dr. Paul Archibald will moderate the panel together. Paul, come on. I got 4 daughters, man. I don't even have to look at you. I can still see that you're looking at me or you're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing. So come on up. Not that you're supposed to be. Come on up. All right, so let's do this. Doc, if you could introduce yourself, and then we'll have the panel introduce themselves.
Good morning. I am Paul Archibald with Archibald Home Health Services. My work actually began in this arena in the juvenile detention centers, and so I was working there as the clinical director for 15 years at Charles Hickey School and what used to be called Boys Village. So I did those two, and so advocacy around recidivism, and when our children were aging out of the system, how when they return back, how do we begin to access services for them? And so we always looked at, they always had some sort of a business venture that they had in their mind the whole time. So that's where that work began. And then I was here as a professor at the School of Social Work, and that's how I got connected with Omar and entrepreneurship across campus. We had that policy going, it was called EDAC. We used the EDAC, but we had EDAC. And so I actually got forced on it. I didn't want to join, but you know, when you're new faculty, they just tell you this is what you need to do. But when I got there, I realized the first day I walked in. It was fascinating too, and I was just sharing with someone as we. So as a social worker, you walk in the room and all these business folks want to know why social work at the table. Right? This is not business. So I had to school them real quick about who we are and what we are, but reminding them that when you become a licensed social worker, you automatically have your own business. Right? And so just helping them understand that whole entrepreneurial mind. And so in our social entrepreneurship, social enterprise work that we do. So that's the work, once I got connected with Omar, with RIDE, and how it was on and we were flowing from it. In fact, Omar never does this, but I'll always say this to him. He has really advanced this entrepreneurial world here on this campus. He was actually one of the first person outside of social work that I've written an article with. And so we wrote an article on RIDE and the work that we're doing, and it was actually published in the Journal of Social Work Education. And so just people understanding the work that we're doing and that we will continue to do.
All right, thank you, Dr. Archibald. So let me kind of back up. So this event is one of the things that we do within RIDE in EDAC. So EDAC stands for the Entrepreneurial Development and Assistance Center. So we work with Black entrepreneurs. So we were probably back in 1992 when I was a student here in Oregon. EDAC came about, and Dr. Mildred Glover was the first director. And we'll talk about the second one. Now became the third director. And you know, we've been working with entrepreneurs, we call it demographic entrepreneurs. So we work with women entrepreneurs, we work with, of course, the students and faculty members here. We also work with veterans, women veterans, and of course, former incarcerated individuals. We also have a podcast. The podcast is called the Breakthrough Podcast. Newman and I are the co-hosts for that, and I see a number of individuals who have been on the podcast before. We also have a boot camp. We have an entrepreneurship training boot camp, where we go and work with organizations that are working with formerly incarcerated individuals. And we provide a 3-hour boot camp. We also have, what else do we have? We have this initiative called Friday Review. And it's really individuals who are, they asking me these questions about entrepreneurship. So instead of just talking to one person, I record these 7 and 8 minute vignettes, and we put those on the website as well. I'll tell you about this other initiative that we're doing later on in the program. All right, so let's go to the panelists that we have here, and I'm gonna start with Dr. Carmen Johnson, and then John Woods, and then Dubai Nunji. So just let everybody know the wonderful work that you're doing, and then I'll pose the first question, and we'll just have some dialogue on, what are some ideas that we can come up with to help reduce recidivism?
Hello everyone, I am Dr. Carmen Johnson. I'm the founder of Helping Ourselves to Transform. I also sit on an array of advisory boards, committees, and commissions for the state of Maryland, including Congressman Glenn Ivey's advisory board for reentry. As the founder of Helping Ourselves to Transform, I was politically hit some years ago. I'm the former housing chair for the state conference NAACP. And I was trying to save our families from being wrongfully foreclosed on. And I was fighting to get a moratorium. Subjectively, I was, went to trial, ultimately lost. We did get the moratorium. I did not get the photo op with the governor, but I did get life experience in being an impacted person. And I wrote a book called The Pretense of Justice. It talks about my journey and what happened to me, and how if it happened to me, it happened to you. And it's very important that you can be doing the right thing and end up behind the wall. And that's why it's very important that we are sensitive to the needs of impacted people. The other thing that's really, really important to me and my nonprofit is our youth. And the fact that the HB 814 bill was signed into law this year by our governor, which allows 10 and 12-year-olds to be arrested. And so with that said, Helping Ourselves to Transform, we not only deal with impacted people, but we also deal with our youth as well. And I think that's it so far. And I'm just thankful for being here today. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is John Woods. I am a returning citizen, incarcerated. Can you hear me? Like it? All right. I get loud, I will try. I am a returning citizen, formerly incarcerated. I have a catering business, and what we do is we hire everybody that's formerly incarcerated. I think about 2 employees. Came home for the last 2 or 3 years. We feel like that is our niche, right? We talk about how to develop folk. I don't want people to work for us forever, right? I give them a year, and then you got to go on and do your own business stuff, right? Because again, you work for me, it's not getting you where you need to be, it doesn't really utilize all the talents. Thank you. This is our fantastic, super fantastic church sauce that we created. So if you all like church sauce, it's $15 a pint. So please, we have a bunch in the back. So my whole thing is, I came home, I had a great support system, but I couldn't get a job. My PO was telling me, you gotta get a job, you gotta get a job. I'm like, I can't get a job, I'm trying to get a job. I did Zoom, I did all of the online stuff, right? And so it's like, you know what, I got enough experience that I can work this out for myself. And we got out my back, and I'm sure a couple of contracts that we got in terms of food and stuff that we were doing. So that's what I'm here for. I want to make sure that when folk come home, they have the opportunity to, number one, work for themselves, right? They have the opportunity to know the resources that are available to them, whether it's food stamps, or social services, or transportation, or housing. That's what we're here to do. So we're not just in this to make money off of food. We are really in this to change people's lives. They say that we have 9 lives. I've lived 7 of mine already, right? And 8 of 9 will be better because I'm giving what I want to do. So that's
I didn't begin my life until the judge offered me 70 years.
Say it again.
I didn't begin my life until the judge offered me 70 years.
7-0, y'all. 7-0. I said 7-0.
It was then, and I heard this story over and over and over, with just a couple of words, one day at a time. And that's what I asked. How can I do 70 years? And he said, one day at a time. So my drug history, we living in vacant houses, we selling drugs, none of that matters. None of that matters. Because those days amass themselves. Those days reduce themselves to hours. Those days reduce themselves to minutes. So today, all I am is my word. Based on that transition of being and living inside my word, I learned integrity, I learned honesty, and I learned the forthright to do something for someone else. So I started navigating within that type of energy. I never looked for a job, I never looked for a career, I never looked for entrepreneurship. Because of the energy that I possess, all of that showed up for me. In that showing up, I went back and bought every vacant house I've ever lived in, started a construction company, rehabbed it, designed it, and sold it to a single female in the household. By creating jobs, by creating opportunities, first, we had to create neighborhoods. That was such a blessing to me because if we look at the word itself, R-E-H-A-B, rehab, that's exactly what I was doing while going through the process. So recidivism is in the process of rehab, of learning from what was to what we dream of. Years later, I went back, I went to school, I got certified in everything real estate, and here lately I ventured into a whole new business. I love playing golf, so I started a golf ring. Again, entrepreneur at heart, never knew it. But there was freedom inside of entrepreneurship. And I think that's what all the panelists are talking about. There is a level of freedom. First, there is the spiritual layer of freedom. Then there's this mental layer of freedom. And then we strive for the financial layer of freedom. So as long as our integrity stays inside ourselves in the direction that we want to go, all three will show up on our own. So again, I'm moving on now, but really all I have is the word.
So let me pose this question to you all. So, you know, one thing about me, I mean, if we're friends, we're going to be friends for life. I'm going to recognize you, and I'm going to pour into you. And how does he say it? I'm giving you flowers. That's how you say it, right? That's how you say it? Come on, y'all.
That's low.
I'm giving you flowers while you're here, all right? So my good friend Murphy Pascal, he couldn't be here today. He on vacation, you know, but he came up, and I was telling him we got this new opportunity to work with full incarcerated conditions. So he's saying, oh, well, let's come up with a new concept, a new initiative. And I'm like, okay, you're creative, think about it. What is it? And he calls it invisible bars. So that will give me some feedback on this. I'm going to read it. He's giving some feedback on this. So, as Murphy calls it, invisible bars. An incarcerated individual may see him or herself physically limited by the bars of imprisonment that place a constraint on their movements. With time, that same individual may eventually realize that they are not confined mentally. But in their thoughts, they can travel the universe. In their mind's eye, they don't see any limitations or restraints. Thus, the bars of imprisonment become invisible bars. We call it entrepreneurship. How can entrepreneurship, you all have reduce recidivism? So, who wants to jump in? Thoughts on that?
So, first thing that came to mind, there was a study that said you tie elephant's leg to a stake, it'll walk in a circle. It'll learn that the circle is its limitation. You take the string off its leg, the elephant will still walk in its circle. So that's likened to an invisible bar, not understanding that there is freedom outside the circle. Recidivism for me, because I was a repeat offender, I visited multiple times, because I didn't allow myself to think beyond what I knew. I took a class called Landmark Forum that said there's 5% of the things that I know, there's another 10% of the things that I know I don't know, but then there's 85% of my brain or my being that don't even know that I don't know. I am more interested in the 85% of not knowing what I didn't know. Hence why I began exploring to connect with other people. I think that began to allow the bars to be released, that allowed my thought patterns to change, that allowed me to more importantly have the key to my bars. And I think once we possess the key, meaning information, opportunity, and then being able to pursue your dream, you can always unlock yourself from any limitation that you create for yourself. So that was always important for me, finding the key. I wrote a book, and the very thing inside the book, I had to challenge myself with. I want to know why. Like, why do I think a certain way? Why do I feel a certain way? Now, I'm only talking about me, because it's important for me. If I'm maintaining the integrity that I say I want to keep, I have to understand what integrity means first. My sponsor, I heard my story, I was in EDAC. He said to me, it's a fact that you feel, but your feelings aren't facts. And I had to think about that for a minute. I can feel about something all day long, and it's irrelevant to all of you guys out there. I have to understand, why do I hold it so important? Why is it so important to me? And maybe I can learn from you guys on why it's not measurable. If that makes any sense. I'll give you a simple illustration and I'll pass it on. There's this thing called means, and there's a result. Let's say I want a slice of pizza, so the means for me to do that is get my car, get some gas, order my pizza, pick up the pizza, result, I have the pizza now. I did that with integrity for me and my dream. Now let's change that situation just a tad. I want pizza, so I know the meaning from the first illustration. Now my significant other wants. I get my car, I get my gas, I order the pizza, I go there. Now the result that I want is not to be satisfied from the pizza. It's hope that I can get something from her. My integrity in the beginning of my process is shifted. I'm learning to keep my integrity one way from the beginning so that my result is always the same.
All right. So that's how we be talking on the podcast. I'm a simple guy, and this brother comes in, I'm like, whoa, I hear you.
So the thing that comes to mind for me, the invisible bars thing, when I was at that prison camp for 3 years, I felt like cotton balls was stuck in my throat every single day. And knowing that I was there for financial crimes and being blamed for the foreclosures in the state of Maryland, I knew that that wasn't true, so I had to find the meaning of life. Not only did I have to find the meaning of life and why I was there, I had to remember who I was. I come from a generation after generation after generation of entrepreneurs and successful people in my family. And so it's just part of nature for us to be that way. But I also spent time with women that was at this prison camp that I found to be the most fascinating, the most intelligent. And they would come to me with their business plans on the crappy piece of papers that we had and the raggedy computers that we, had to, type on. And they did the best that they could in terms of creating business plans and things of that nature. So I want to say that there are a lot of intelligent, highly intelligent people that are behind the wall. However, when they come home, when we come home, it's very difficult for us to succeed because the odds are against us, especially when we talk about the women. Because when we come home, we got to deal with our children, we got to deal with our husbands and our fiancés or whatever, and we got to deal with the fact that the men dominate, re-entry, right? And so we have to fight even harder to be successful and to make sure we don't slide back into a situation that landed us behind the wall in the first place. So for me, I'm really promoting women in entrepreneurship that have come home. And I know as an Indigenous woman that we are the most intelligent. We are the mothers of the earth. And so we have to make sure that we don't allow these invisible bars when we come home still affect us. Because I know that we are some of the most intelligent creatures on this earth. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. One. Good morning again. So, I'm gonna take a different take on the bars, right? I was a guy that was supposed to do. I'm the guy they push, college, right? Everybody surrounding me was supposed to do this, right? But I think in some way, they're not supposed to as if they were bad people or anything, but they were doing things that people were going to land in prison. I was not, because I had 4 brothers who were like, oh, but there was this attraction, right, to what they were doing. Right? There was this attraction to the streets. There was this attraction to the money. There was attraction to addiction, right? All of those things were there. And it wasn't until I went to prison that the bars went away, right? So when I got to prison, it's kind of crazy. When I got to prison, it's like, something. You deserve to be here because if you still out there, you need that, right? You deserve to be here because God, the universe, whoever, is going to put you in this space so that you can really realize who you are, realize what your talents are, and put you in a space where you can be helpful, right? Instead of being hurtful, right? Because while I was out doing all my stuff, I was doing the taking, make money. That's it, right? Selfish, stubborn, all that, right? So the bars, the freedom came to me, right, when I had to sit with myself, right? For the time that I had to sit with myself for, And so it was like this thing was feeling really weird to tell people all the time. I'm glad that I went to prison, because had I not gone to prison, then I don't know where I would have been, right? Well, so I sort of look at it in reverse, right? The bars went away from now, okay? And now that I've come home, I understand that, there's real meaning to life, there's real purpose to life. It ain't just about me, it ain't just about being successful, it's about, helping others, giving, and realizing that at any point in time, this can only be taken away. So that's sort of the reverse piece that
So as we heard, because I'm one who takes what people are saying and kind of put them in some categories. As you begin to listen, you can see that as we're defining invisible bars, we see that there's a group who are defining it based on the bars inside. So I'm glad that somebody talked about the bars that are outside. Because there are some young people who I work with and talk about feeling locked up outside. And so that was really, really good, so that when we talk about and we're moving into the next part of talking about recidivism, we do need to understand and
ask people, how do they see the bars? Because if we don't start there, then all the resources that we put in place become almost invalid. So I'm glad that all that includes 3 different versions of what the bars mean. So that means we have to talk to people to really find out what the bars mean. People cannot assume. So now, as we now have an understanding from the panel what the bars mean, the invisible bars, now we need to understand what does recidivism mean to you? Because we now have the bars piece, we don't understand what recidivism means. How do we get to say we're reducing it if we don't know what we're reducing? Okay, so the question is, what is recidivism to you, and then we can move into the other process?
Well, I'm going to give you an example of recidivism that could possibly happen. So when I went to trial, I was arrested immediately at trial, and they called me a terrorist and ISIS and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not Muslim, I'm Buddhist. Like, what are y'all talking about? So they arrested me immediately. So I didn't have the chance to handle my business affairs, my personal affairs. They didn't give me that balance. So when I went off to the prison camp, and I came back home 3 years later, I came home to a disaster. I owed state taxes. I mean, I wasn't even at the halfway house for 2 days. I'm making a point here, y'all. I wasn't even there 2 years. Somehow the state of Maryland found me and said, you know, you owe this amount of money, and somehow the IRS found me. I'm like, I'm just stepping down. Like, how they find me? And what blew my mind was the fact that IRS said I owe them $573,000. And I'm like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? Where am I going to, what am I going to do? All the plans that I thought that I had before I came home, it was just a disaster. And so finally, after 4 years, I did wrestle IRS down to $26,000. But going through that process within that 4 years, I was like, and I'm being honest with you guys, and I'm not a criminal or anything like that. I started thinking, man, come on, I may need to rob a bank. Like, what am I going to do? I need to go start sticking people up. I mean, what am I going to do? Nobody could help me. I went to different, organizations trying to get help. And I'm like, look, IRS is saying I owe it, they're going to take my property in South Carolina. It was just, I was like, I am either going to kill myself or go rob a bank or do something. And then I had to remember, as a Buddhist and as a scholar of metaphysics and science of the mind, I had to remember who I was and who I am. And I said, wait a minute, okay, Carmen, what would you have done before this thing happened to you? Before this incarceration happened to you? I had to slow down, slow my breathing down, and I had to think about that thing. I contacted the congressman, I contacted the U.S. Treasury. My story was so powerful with the U.S. Treasury, they invited me to come speak on what and how IRS had did me. And now I'm in the process of working on draft legislation for returned citizens that are dealing with the same thing that I had to deal with, for IRS and also for the state of Maryland. So I had to think. But that's what recidivism looked like. I was getting ready to do some crazy stuff. I mean, do I know how to rob a bank? No. Do I know how to stick up somebody? No. But do I want to kill myself? No. But it was like, what other option did I have? Like, and where did IRS get these numbers from? Where did the state get these numbers from? Right? So that's what recidivism looked like. People are forced to do things. They have to go back to what they know, or they have to do something that they don't want to do in order to survive out here after being behind the bars. Thank you.
Good morning. When I came home, right, I know a few good men, right, I know a few good men. I know you know what I'm talking about, right? So there was the opportunity for me to face all of them, right? And talk to some folk, and what you gonna do, how we gonna do it, you want, come on, let's do it. But the one thing that really discouraged me, right, was the fact that I got girls, right, I got babies, right, and the pain that I caused them, right, by doing what I did, was enough to stop me, almost, but it didn't, right, it didn't. So yeah, one of my thoughts in this whole process is, okay, how do we prevent recidivism? How do we stop people from going back to where they were, right? It's challenging because it's easy to go back to where you were, because that's what you know, those are the people you're around, like your brothers, like your cousins, like your uncles, right? But how do you stop that? The only way I can find to stop it is to create the environment that so many people have helped me create in terms of my company, right? But it's hard, right? Because you come, I was fortunate, right? I had a support system. I was fortunate. They were very happy with what I had, right? Who was this? This was, I think, January 2 years ago, right? I was reporting to, not in a few years, I was reporting to the halfway house in Baltimore. And they called me one day and said, come up here, right? You get released. That was the second chance, right? And what shocked me, right, and was the fact that everybody that got released, whether they were ready or not, right? Drove to the spot, brothers on the sidewalk, plastic bag of their belongings, nowhere, right? And when I saw that, I was like, yo, you gotta do something about it. So to see 50, 60 brothers standing on the corner, no place, right? You leave at 2 o'clock today, right? Today, 2 o'clock. Give me a cuss. You know, it's like, oh, how does this happen? Right? How do you just say, okay, now you're free, right? When you don't give them anything, then you're free too, or me, right? But yeah, you can go now, okay? And that particular moment in my life really changed my life because it was, yo, this is unacceptable in so many different ways, right? You know, as children, they know because again, I don't do it. I have to exercise some integrity. But yeah, so that part was the thing that really triggered me. And every day since then, I've been thinking, how do I do what I can do, right, to help somebody else not go to spaces and places that they need to be, right? How do we do that, right? So we work on it every day. But that day never go away from my memory because it was like, oh, it's not good at all, right? And well, you know what I got to do? Anybody? Yeah, right there, middle of nowhere, no buses, right? Nothing, right? So yeah, you got it. So that's why I try to do the whole city thing. It's good. It's you people like that, you know, right? You know, we can help. Let's help.
I think that was a great way to say what you're doing. I know like that you stood up and like took charge. Recidivism simply for me is an inability to change your mind. That simple. We want to win a lot of things. I didn't have an opportunity. They're preventing me from opportunities. They're preventing me from getting here. In my life, if I could wake up every day sick from heroin, my mind was set on how to get heroin. The end. There is no, I can't walk that far. There is no, it's raining outside. It is no, I can't sleep at my mother's house. None of that mattered. I was taught that change you must or die you will. Simple again for me. Recidivism challenges that premise. Change you must. There is, don't change probably. Don't say I'm working on it. It is a done thing. It's almost like we say these things like, no, and then we come back and say an explanation of why I said no. No is a complete sentence. It don't need an explanation. Inside of changing my mind, I changed my mind. That's it. There is no January 1st, I'm going on a diet. It's, I'm going on a diet, the end. That's where I said to you guys earlier, all I am is my word. If I said, that's what it is. There were 3 umpires. One was new, one was intermediate, one was seasoned. Boy threw the ball. He looked at him and he said, what do you say? He says, a strike. He asked the second intermediate guy, what do you think it is? It's a ball. The seasoned guy says, it ain't nothing until I say what it is. If we live our life as we say we want it to be, that's what it is. Recidivism can be reduced not by changing your mind, but changing your mindset. Now, a mindset is a story that we attach to a thought. As long as we stay inside of that story, we're stuck. There are opportunities all around us. Let me give you an example. No, that's okay. So this is what I want to say. When the higher power did something with intention, he did it with intention. Intention is grass is green. Grass dies in the winter. Grass grows in the fall and in the summer. Grass don't complain when it has snow on it, because it knows that it's grass and it will grow. The moment we keep layering stuff on top of us and complain about the stuff that's on top of us, we'll never realize that we still are supposed to grow. So again, change you must or die you will. That's what recidivism is to me.
I love it. I love it.
We can see, again, recidivism is individualized. The criminal justice system defines recidivism as a person who returns back, gets rearrested after receiving a sanction or being imprisoned for 3 years later. So they really look at it 3 years later. So their goal is that a person within 3 years. That's how they really define recidivism. And so if we begin to ask people what recidivism means, even from the 3 panelists who just spoke, you can hear that recidivism doesn't even begin with an act. It begins with a thought. As I'm listening to you talk, this didn't begin with them doing something. You started it off. You said, I thought about it. And you said, I didn't say it, you said, that's when you know you had recidivism. With the thought. So that means we have to begin to think about when we're looking at reducing it, how do we reduce the thoughts with those mindsets?
All right, it did. So now, I like panels where they just let everybody ask questions, not just moderators. So this is an opportunity. If you have a question for the panelists, raise your hand, and I'll come to you with the mic. If not, we got Dr. Archibald here, and me. You can continue to ask the questions for the time that we have remaining. Anybody have any questions or any thoughts? Okay, there we go. I'll give my steps then. closer to you right now.
What's going on? Thank you for your insight. I want to know what you guys think about Westmore pardoning the 175 people for cannabis crimes and what more needs to take place.
I think it was a good thing. However, I gotta go back to the HB 814 bill that allowed 10 to 12-year-olds to be arrested. So as they push, adults out that's been in jail 15, 20, 30 years, 40 years, 10 years, they still got to re-up again. So now they are starting to look at our babies. So it's like a sweet, sour type thing. You know what I'm saying? So it was a great thing that he did. However, now they are, not saying him personally, but now they're looking at our babies. And so for me, was that a really good swap or not? I don't know. But I'm glad that he did release them, but I'm disappointed that now we have to protect our 10 to 12-year-olds, our youth, which are our future, right?
Anybody else want to say? Good? All right.
My name is Brandon Sharks. I have to Johnson. The building she's talking about, that's about 10 to 12 years old. They also keep talking about building juvenile center down there, and as far as changing the law, as far as juveniles get locked up more and more. I myself got two young juveniles that are raised right now. We give them all kinds of stuff, and we saw their friends and their kids. So it's like, well, my question to you was like, well, what type of things are we going to tell? And rather, most people did have a lot of things in place, but we got saying about our police. When it comes to juvenile, we know it's going to be reformed because of what's going on at that rate. I mean, juveniles don't get locked up, and it really is a lot of juveniles coming in around stuff like that. When it comes to punishment, I'm not sure like, what they are doing. Like I said, putting laws in place of 10 to 12. What do you do? What kind of programs will you know?
So is that a question?
Yeah, my question is like, what kind of things can be done about it, or what people don't know? Kind of stuff like that goes through, or when it comes to juvenile reform.
I think that's an excellent question, and with me working and having working in juvenile justice system for such a long time, there's a lot of advocacy around that. People are pushing against it, but I think with some of the discussions that we just talked about, and especially when we talk about asking people about the invisible laws, we have to look at some of the things that are happening in the society, because our youth are always a symptom of what's happening in an area. The youth always represent a symptom of what's happening. So if there's an increase in crimes by youth, increase by behavioral issues by youth, it's being caused by something that's happening in that environment. And so there are a lot of us who are beginning to create opportunities for people to start looking at what's happening in the environment and not just keep focusing on what's happening with the youth.
Do you need it? I can make it.
That's where it's beginning. We've been doing a lot of work, and even when we, myself, trying to be kind with this, when we're defending our youth, just like what you just shared, those of us who begin to defend our youth, we get targeted. So I just want the community to know that you have to also protect and help those who are out there fighting against the system, because the system then targets them. So we're going to need some, this we cannot do alone. What you're asking, and you ask them, there are a lot of different advocacy groups, just like we're doing this right here. We're going to need to come together, because people are, we have youth groups over here, youth advocacy groups over here, youth advocacy groups over here. There are a lot of pockets of things that are done, but we're not doing it correctly. So
So I think what you're saying, that's what you just opened up in my head, is that I could list a number of advocacy youth groups that are out there fighting, but we don't always come together.
But I guess it's like learning different ways to strategize. And for me, I'm not for a long period of time. I was in a program called Live for Life. And in this program, we used to meet, we used to talk about different subjects and times, move around, past, and over. And we talk about these things as men, how to deal with our emotions and feelings. And sometimes saying things to our people are over minds sometimes. And we got these like circular group discussions where we all talk about these things and came up with different solutions and scenarios and stuff. So I always felt like a program like this would be very useful on the outside. We don't take that in the kitchen, how can we do it outside? We might not see but I personally started my nonprofit about 2 years ago called Loud Words. And it's based off this program called Life Plus. I'm dealing with these two teenagers right now. So I knew I was going to deal with so much. They dealing with them, trying to help them. I thought they can help our other young males too. And when we had these discussions, everybody get back in their own way. So it's like, as long as you get back, yo, this is different. Your vision out there, mine is this, nonprofit. I haven't done a whole lot of things with it. As far as like our curriculum, what we want to do and how we want to and so forth, but the goal is to try to open their minds and steer them to different things and stuff like that. Like career people, barbers might come in one time, opposed to person might come. You try to show them different things from ages from middle school to high school. So I mean, I just feel like it is a lot more that we can do than one of them. So I guess if we knew how to, then I can do a lot more. Definitely these juveniles.
Yeah, one quick thought, right? And it is, you know, we have got to a point where we're like, we got a message to these young folk, right? Everybody's talking about, stay away from gambling, stay from this, stay from that, they crazy, It's a symptom, right, of where we are as a community. Right? So we have to be engaged with them. We have to look in the aisle, go in the store, and they have been the gas station, and they, selling the bags and all that stuff. We have to engage with them on a level where they know that we care and that we're concerned, right? Because we got to a point now where we don't care, right? We're afraid, right? Don't want to, be involved, see them go the other way. We got to adopt them, we got to engage them, we got to, even on a daily basis, it's like, what's up, what's up, blah, 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 blah. You just got to really, that simple hello, right? That simple recognition of they are there as a person, as a being, right, is really, really important, right? My youngest is 16, right? They'll call me Papa. Because you got that in your life, you got a man, whatever you ain't got, I'm there to step in, right? Because we have to. It's amazing how, they will gravitate to you because they're not getting the attention that they need, right? So just open up your eyes, right? And engage. That's I think that's the ground piece of it. And support those organizations, as you were saying, support those organizations that are out there on the streets every day doing like that. But it has to start with us as individuals. It can't be looking for this organization or that organization or other organization. It's got to be whoever's on that block that's in that age group that you're talking about, they need to look at you as okay, right? And I can see that now. He sees me, right? And I think that's where we start because laws take 15, 20 years to get pass, right? So, but it does take us about 2 minutes, right, to engage with those individuals. So I think that's where we start the whole process.
I agree. It's like one of the things, like, it's not your problem. A lot of people feel like it's not their problem, but it is. So it's like doing something that way. Me having 2 teenagers, my sisters, we got all of them. Their friends getting shot, they get locked up, they get kicked out of school, we meet. It's like, what's next?
What's interesting about what everybody has said, well, first, let me congratulate you on courage. 2 things. To stand and share in front of people that you don't. To start a nonprofit is a dream that you're uncertain of, but know it is necessary. I believe if I could take anybody back to the 60s or 70s, where we saw the fly guy on the corner with the big hats and the nice suits, and we wanted to do that. The guy that had the diamond in the back and the sun with the top, we wanted that. All I'm making is an idea of kids only want to be what they see. So if we stop showing ourselves to be upright, to have integrity, how will we learn? The court system says, we want to lock them up because it's not the kids, it's y'all. The moment we keep putting a finger at us as a responsible individual, like you said you're doing, and if we had 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 individuals like yourself to show the example of, maybe we prevent a lot of. You know what I mean? Because it's interesting. We all go on vacation and we all travel. But every time we land in that destination, I know that there's a thought of, damn, there's some people that live in Baltimore that will never see this. Damn, there's some people on my block that will never do this. All starts with thoughts, as we talked about earlier. If we keep being the example of what we want it to be, it has to be that way. There is no court sanction, court system, law, legislation that can stop progress. So I don't like to lean into the negative. I want to figure out a way, like EDAC has, and my hat goes off to Omar, and you helping them, the panelists, and everybody that participates here. So figuring out a way to think about how do we get entrepreneurs, healthcare, how do we get the legal assistance, how do we do this, but more importantly, where do we get the funding? Absolutely not alone, because we see that it's necessary to combat the next layer. So yes, there will be 5–10% of the juveniles that will go their route. But what about the 90% of those that these things will tax? You know what I mean? And you become part of that 90% protection. So always think about your role, think about the guidance, think about the protection that you're doing, and less about the result that they want to do. Stay focused on what you're doing.
Good morning. Good morning. Quick question for the panel. Kind of piggybacking on what I said, because I really want to know, if we're talking about recidivism being in the mind first, then what are some deliberate action steps and preemptive things for you, but deliberate action steps for those returning citizens to put in place that are not necessarily tangible? Because there has to be a change of the mind first, as Mr. Woods mentioned, and Dr. Coleman mentioned, and everybody's saying the same thing with that. So what are some things outside of even monetary pieces? Because you move because your back was against the wall in regards to monetary spaces, but you had all of these things in your mind, so you recidivize. What is the word? You visited, right? You visited before you did it, and you stopped because you put things in place so that you would not go the total route and do that back again. But what are those preemptive spaces? What are those things that we put in those spaces for them to be able to utilize? How do we support that change in mindset? Even while we're seeking funding, while we're seeking, tangible resources, what do we do to kind of battle the mindset of revisiting those spaces?
One thing, create villages. That's how we're supposed to live. We're supposed to create village. I think individually we make decisions, but if we don't have village, there is no collective decision. I think that's where we got away from. It's interesting, the word neighborhood really meant something. It really did, in that community, in that family, in that responsibility. It meant a whole bunch of things. Here now, we took a neighbor. No. I'm trying to figure out how do we put the neighbor back into the hood. Because we reduce, you see how we live? We reduce ourselves to every good now. How do we put the neighbor back in the hood? So to answer your question, if we don't have village, the line can't change. If we don't have family, the line can't change. So that's where we start.
So what I want to say is, recidivism to me, it was fear. For me, it was fear. It wasn't my first thought. It was dealing with big bad IRS saying that I owed them $600 and something thousand. And I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? You know, so for me, that's what it was. And so many people that come home, the first thing, in my opinion, especially when we talk about the women, is fear. Like, how do they feed their children? You know, their mother, their cousins been taking care of their children while they were gone, and they come back and deal with your kids. Like, what do you do? So for the women, it's more so fear. What do we do? The other thing is, in terms of entrepreneurship, I know that in the Maryland Assembly, I think Jazz Lewis has some type of entrepreneur legislation that he was either trying to pass or passed this last session. And I can certainly look into that deals with health insurance and deal with funding and things of that nature. So I need to look into that. And then the other thing, in terms of our putting neighbors back into the hood or just bringing our communities together, there's this thing called Black trauma. And so we sit and we hold our youth, our young people responsible for the things that they do when we know as adults we're sitting in Black trauma from generation after generation after generation. And we won't, as adults, acknowledge that. And then as soon as your neighbors, you do something, or your cousin, you do something, we so quick to blame, you know, the youth. But we have to look at ourselves. We have to fix ourselves. Because once we deal with that Black trauma that's embedded in our DNA and our RNA, we will be able to come together and protect our youth like we should. We will be able to come together and understand that the people that have been behind that wall need the help and the support of their community. And the best bet is to become an entrepreneur, to show them what it feels like to be absolutely free. And that is through entrepreneurship. Thank you.
So, as you can see, once again, okay, one of the things that, one of the simple, basic things that we need to be able to direct people to, when they come home, is the resources that are available, right? A lot of people don't know that when you come home from prison, you automatically, you're eligible, right? You're eligible for food stamps, right? You're eligible for some housing stuff. You're eligible for a lot of the things that we need, right? Even if it's a streaming house, whatever it is. Those resources are not being taken advantage of. We had a meeting last week with the Department of Human Services in Prince George's County, Department of Social Services in Prince George's County, and it was myself, some folks from Rural Probation, and they're not even directing their people to those meaningful resources, right? If I hate people, what am I going to do? Right? What am I going to do? Find out transportation, what am I going to do? There's organizations that are like Vehicles for Change, there's the Department of Social Services, there's a bunch of these organizations that help with the housing and the schools. And that little piece right there, it will ease, right, your mind, right? And then we can start talking about some of the other bigger things with laws and other disabilities, neighborhoods. But first, you have to have a relationship with your head, right? You have to have something to put in your stomach, right? When you start with those little things that are not being taken advantage of, right? We're in the building of the Department of Social Services, Prince George's County. I walked in the building. I saw 400 women, right? 2 men. Right? 2 men. Right? Now, I don't know if that's a thing with big bad, we don't need a food stamp, I don't know what that is, right? But it's there, right? 400 women and 2 men. So we got some work to do with that piece. But the resource has to be available. The resources available, we have to make sure
that they know it's available, they know how to get it. It can't be go to 425 right so you go. It's not go to 425 right so you go see John Lewis and he'll take care of it. Right? As opposed to go sit in this lobby full of people for 5 hours, right? And get your $300. Okay? So yeah, it's a thing that we got to work with, but the basic resources, we have to make sure that people take advantage of, and that takes away, some of the stuff like I gotta do this, right? To eat. I gotta do this, put my head up, my place, put my head on this, right? Or sit in line. Okay, sit in the bed. Okay, all right. I'm letting them work. Sit in the bed. Yeah, let's take care of those basic resources first, right? And then we can take care of things later. All right, or at the same time, right? Wrap-around services. They're available for everybody, especially if you just okay.
So I have a question. Can I ask a question on this? Okay. Every time I hear basic, every time I hear that, I hear limitation. I do. I hear they'll give you just enough to do what you said. Lay your head down, find something to do. That's emotional trauma, again.
Yeah.
Because it's basic. I think that the more we begin to see ourselves greater than basic, we won't accept basic. We won't stay stuck at basic. Because there is a bigger, better, faster. I think what Carmen said earlier, fear prevents us from thinking bigger, better, faster. Fear is 4 letters. Face everything and recover. So no matter how hard you get hit, how many bruises you get, you still have to face it. What recidivism says, you can F everything and run. That's how we live. We run from that problem to that problem to that problem to that problem. We don't face those problems and recover during the process. I'm going to be honest, it's easier in you. That's how it was for me. I didn't have to be a son, I didn't have to be a father, I didn't have to be an uncle, I didn't have to be a nephew, I didn't have to be nothing. I didn't have to be nothing. So don't get it messed up that I thought it was, oh, you're going to jail. You accept it. That's the biggest part of the burden. When you get the handcuffs on, you accept that you're going to be locked up. My sponsor told me this. When you do what's right is going to happen. When you do what's wrong is going to happen. I see you say that don't make sense. I threw a rock at a window. Wrong thing, got locked up, right results. Right is always the result of every action we take. Right is always the result. I can't eat today, can't pay my mortgage, but I'm not looking for a job. You can't do the first things because you ain't did the first thing. I can't get you a job for a time because I don't have gas in my car. You haven't done anything to put gas in your car. I keep stuff extremely simple because that's how my mind has to work in order to be able to accomplish things.
So as we can see, we've been dealing with invisible laws and reducing recidivism. And so what the panel did a really good job of what we call unearthing, opening up, helping us to see is that invisible laws, that they actually listed a number of different invisible laws. And I think the question that came from this table actually helped us to see even more. Because when the question of what are we doing for the youth, because sometimes the youth is considered an invisible population. Right? We don't, well, those of us who move around town, stay in a child's place. Right? And so a lot of us still have, those of us that still live on this earth, we still have that thought in our head. And so we're leaving out that invisible discussion. And then we brought up the fear. When the question was, what do we do about addressing those things that we don't see? Because fear is not something that you can just see, right? there's actions and how it looks. And so fear right now is, even as you ended there, fear is driving this whole piece. It's driving people from helping, and it's blocking people from receiving help. And so when we want to reduce down from the questions, and we just did some qualitative work with the 3 panelists, we can see now what resources do we have in place to start addressing people's fears. One of the things when I worked with the young men in the prison system, they would never ever say they were afraid of anything. Fear is not something, fear, and when we talk about emotions, fear and jealousy is not something that men would talk about. When I use different terms, like, yo, what you hating on him? Oh, yeah, that's jealousy, sir. But it's certain terms we don't connect to. I'm never gonna say I'm afraid, but I'll say, so you don't like going over there? Nah, I'm never over there. That's fear, right? So it's the words that we use to help people to start to address some of the things that we need to address. So when we're talking about this piece, this is what the panel just helped us with, right? Now we have to think about it in terms of, we have to make our work goes versus doing the work. We have to think of it in terms of being person-centered. That means we can't do this group thing. Because I love the way that you talk. You know something he says, for me, that's what it did for me. And I think this way, and I feel this way. So that means if I find somebody that has his personality, that may work for them, but it may not work for somebody else. Our great queen on that panel talked about this is what you need to do for women, right? When you talk about the demographic work that EDAC. So I just want us to start thinking, when we start thinking about the work that we have to do, hearing from all of our panelists today, about all the different things that we need to start thinking about as we're looking to reduce it. When we talk about the basic needs and addressing that term basic, and what does that mean for people? Because we do a lot of our work, we want to get people into entrepreneurship, but I'm hungry. So how do I eat now? So a lot of times people will say, you know, when we did the first set of Ride, and one of the questions that we asked is, what are some of your needs? And people were like, transportation, food, you know, I have these issues, I want to come to your program, but I have these underlying things that I need. How do we begin to take care of those? So as we're thinking about the work, we have to think about helping people in not just one area, but all these different areas. So again, can we thank our panelists?
So we're about to transition, but before we transition, Dr. Carmen, how can we find your book? What's the name of your book, and how can people find your book?
The Pretense of Justice. So it talks about the name of my book is called The Pretense of Justice. It came out in 2022, and I'm currently working on the second book now. But you can find the book on Amazon, or you can certainly catch me while I'm here and give me your address, and I can autograph a book and have that sent to you. And it talks about our system and how it affects our community, right? Mass incarceration, how it affects us, the recidivism rate, how it affects us. Because our white counterparts, they don't get the same sentencing that we get, or they don't get as much recidivism as we get as well. Yeah, so they get a whole different array of services and things like that. But again, it starts with the fact my book talks about our community. I address our community. That's what we need to look at, is our community. We are responsible for us. And that's what the book talks about. It's not just a jail book. It's about my life. It's about what I see in our community. It's about how we can become a better tribe. That's what my book is about. You will learn a lot about, you know, what's going on with us and what we need to do. Again, it's on Amazon. Judge Joe Brown did the forward. Grammy winner Fiona Apple did a forward in the book as well. And it's selling over in the UK. It's selling over here too, but but it's going very, very well over in the UK. All proceeds go to helping ourselves and transforming the programs that we offer to our community. Thank you.
So tell where it is, where you can get, well, get it back here.
Well, we get it here. If you see me, I'll give you my Instagram, right? So we got everything on Instagram. You know what you want. We have a variety of sources. I figured that this was a church source crowd, right? So I figured, I'll bring church sources and that church, right? So yeah, my Instagram, I'll give it to you, right? Come on to the table. They taught me how to do the little thing. The QR code. Yeah. Right, my grandmother said, yeah, well, why you gotta tell me this to live? Village. Right, so QR code, I can give you that, go straight to the page, and if you need any other services in terms of catering, we fly. That's myself on that. Thank you. Appreciate it.
My website is communitysolutions.org, and it's anatomy of residential rehab.
All right, so we want, let's get on the hand once again. And good thanks to my good friend over there, Dr. Paul Archibald. All right, we're going to switch gears. We're going to now, it'll take about 5 minutes when we transition, get the judges here for the pitch competition. We have the National Association of Entrepreneurs that will be the judges, and maybe one other person. And then, the community. I want my daughters to experience everything. So, Imani, my 17-year-old, she's going to be one of the honorary judges today. Give it all. TikTok that. Alright, so this is what we're going to do. So for the people who are participating, I'm going to call your name if you can stand up. Y'all can transition. Any addition of the capital call? Alright, so Colin Frazier. Tiffany Page Cook. Laura Beth John Woods. Heather Lamb. Jasmine Davis. Amanda Sanders. Sanders. Zakia Green. Lakaya. Daniel McGill Jr. So that's the order that you all are in. Alright. So Calvin, Tiffany, John, Heather, Jasmine, Randy, Lakaya, and Dan. Alright. So this is what I need you all to do. So we got 8. Started off at 18. So we had 8. So, originally I said we're going to give you 2 minutes, we're going to give you an extra minute. So you'll have 3 minutes, and then we'll do Q&A with the judges. So what I'm looking for, or what the judges are looking for, is really your idea and how it's going to reduce recidivism. So we're going to talk about what problem you're solving, which is recidivism. What's your solution? Who's going to buy it, and who's your customer? How you're going to get your product to your customer, and how the customer is going to find you. You'll talk about your experience in the industry, and then what are you going to use the money for? So today, the top prize is $25,000. What? For one person? No, wrong audience. My bad. 500. That was my bad, y'all. I almost gave you a whole lot of money. All right. So my bad. So top prize is $2,500. All right. So are we ready?
Yes.
All right. Let's get the judges ready. So you all, let's get the judges ready. So Danielle, what time? While we wait for the judges to get ready, and listen up.
And those up in the back, Omar, we are ready to do that. We're ready. No, not yet. Okay. All right, here we go. Mr. Colin Asher from Upley.
Good morning, everybody. You can get food, alcohol, just about anything delivered to your front door. So why not cannabis? Uplink does just that. So we're the first black-owned cannabis delivery app in the United States and in Jamaica. So essentially, we work like Uber Eats or DoorDash. So you have somebody who will download our app, find any dispensary closer to them, or will deliver it to their doorstep. And this started back in right at the beginning of COVID. My mom had got stage 4 cancer, and I found that it was a struggle for her to get her medication after doing chemo. So I wanted to figure out how could she get medication sent to her doorstep. Not only that, but get some alternative medication, which is i.e. cannabis. Now my mom, bona fide Christian, thought that cannabis was the devil's lettuce, so we had to change the mindset on this particular plant, on this medical use plant. And so we had to change the mindset too, because her son was involved with it. 2008, I was shot 8 times due to cannabis. Got shot in my face, shot in my eye socket, bullet came through the left side of my face, came out the right side, shot in my jaw. Got shot through my arm here, came out through here, shot my radius bone in the back of the head and twice in the abdomen. I was incarcerated. After that, I came out in the 8 years prison industry with a mindset change in building this company up and to be able to help those who are locked up behind bars, changing the mindset of this plant and being able to come into an industry where they're arrested for. Now we have an opportunity to train them on entrepreneurship in the cannabis industry where they're locked up for. So right now we have over 26 drivers, more than half of them are returning citizens. We just won our license in DC. My co-founder is also a returning citizen, so we have the first black-owned returning citizen dispensary in DC right now. And so with the goals of hiring and training those who came to the market. Not only that, we also work with Georgetown University pivot program where we're able to teach classes on how to build a better business in the industry. Everybody's not going to get a license, but we have to find out wraparound business services within the business. That's why we have our stash box that we created, which is NFT art. So after these are sold out, these retail for $5, that go back into help the returning citizens get the things that they need in order when they come out of incarceration. But then also an NFT, this is worth $46 on digital currency, and that's up.
Do you have any questions for Colin? Thank you. Can you hear me? Oh, yeah, sorry.
So could you talk a little bit more about the revenue model?
So the revenue model, what we do is we charge a stipend for the dispensaries being onto our app. So they come in on a tier level, so $420 to start with, going up to $1,500. Then we upcharge on every single product that's sold that the company gets. And then we also charge for medical cards. So for every medical card that we get paid for that as well too. Then we have the delivery charge, and then we just upgraded our app
just want to let you guys know about a couple of things that are going on. So I serve as the project manager for RIDE as well as REC, which is our brand new entrepreneurship center, strictly for returning citizens, introducing them to entrepreneurship. Please give us a round of applause for that. Right now, we're super excited about that work. What I want to let you guys know is some of the things that are going to be coming up as it pertains to that. We'll be having monthly meetups for returning citizens taking place at the Cube. Each month that is going to be centered around entrepreneurial skills, activities, and events, but more importantly, ways for them to network and connect. If you are interested in learning more about the work that we're going to be doing specifically for returning citizens and entrepreneurship, please connect with me today. I want to meet you. I want you to get connected with our subject matter entrepreneurs. And now I want to introduce you to Ms. Tiffany Page, or Page Cooper for Virtual Village.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, all right. I am Tiffany Page Cooper, co-founder of Virtual Village Learning Center, and today I want to discuss briefly Reclaim Pathways, which is a community-driven re-entry support network that Virtual Village has created. A little bit about me. I hold a bachelor's from Cotton State College in criminal justice with a master's, with a master's also in curriculum and instruction. I'm also a certified community health worker and peer recovery specialist. And this work is deeply personal for me because, this work is deeply personal for me because I have experienced multiple short-term incarcerations, unfortunately, and I understand the challenge of reintegrating back into society, even after short-term experiences. I've also had experience teaching in youth correctional facilities and also strong community ties with incarcerated and reentering citizens. So the challenges, reducing recidivism, and how do we plan to create a solution for this? By equipping returning citizens with the essential skills and support that they need. We want to expand access by providing incarcerated and recently released individuals with Medicaid-funded health and vocational services, improving their reintegration prospects and overall well-being. Sustainable funding. A lot of issues is that the programs are out there, but they're not sustainable. We want to utilize Medicaid billing to ensure consistent funding, supporting the long-term sustainability of reentry programs for returning citizens. Objectives, again, to empower returning citizens. I like to use co-power rather than empower. We want to co-power returning citizens. We want to create sustainable revenue streams, and we want to build supportive networks. How are we going to do this? We're going to offer design and development of curriculum, sustainable curriculum that can be utilized both inside prison walls and when individuals come home. We want to create partnerships and use Medicaid billing for sustainability. In addition, we're going to use the STRONG framework, and STRONG stands for Successful Transition, Reintegration, and Network. Our target market is the 32,000 Maryland residents that are currently locked up in various facilities. Approximately 15,000 of these individuals will be coming home from prison at any given time. There are 1.4
So if awarding the funding from this pitch will we use the money for?
Yes, ma'am. The money will be used for curriculum development. We currently have partnerships with Langston Hughes Community Business Resource Center, in addition to Santa Clara University Entrepreneurship Program, and also No Struggle, No Success. So the money will be used for curriculum development and marketing.
So much. All right, we have our next.
So what traction have you already had? So have you already started and have you raised any funds?
Yes, ma'am. So we have already started, and the information that I've handed out to both the judges and I'll also be handing out to guests is through our partnership with Administer Justice, which is a national organization. We started the Park Heights Gospel Justice Center, where we're already providing support services to both recently re-entering citizens in addition to justice impacted citizens across the city.
How many people are currently part of this organization?
Right now, you're talking about the Park Heights Gospel Justice Center. Right now, we have approximately 10. We have partnerships with the Office of the Public Defender. I talked about No Struggle, No Success. We have participation from our Delegate Roth, CL Strong Arm, and I had some other ones mentioned. We also are looking to build our interfaith community as well. We have churches within the building that provide support, but as you know, Park Heights is, we have a strong Jewish community as well, and so we're trying to facilitate partnerships with them in addition to our Muslim brothers and sisters.
Thank you all so much.
Absolutely. Yep, so come on back. Thank you. Let's give Tiffany another round of applause.
Were there any other questions?
What do you plan to do with the money?
So with the money, definitely with our education plan and getting them access that they need to be able to start off, we want to help them out with the stipend. So like what's needed for LLC, any license or any permits that we have, we want to be able to help with that.
So you have the app, but you also have like the education service side?
Yeah, so we have the app and our returning citizens who work for us also want to have endeavors with starting up businesses as well, so we help them out on that side.
Right, you asked me about training, so that was my question. Are you a trained professional in this industry of medical marijuana?
Correct.
You are, okay.
So, I guess my question is around the need for it in Maryland. What is your track for growth with cannabis delivery in Maryland, seeing as though it may not be as popular as in a state like California?
What is the track on how?
On how you see it growing or scaling over time?
Trend. Yeah, so Maryland, we did already $1.1 billion in cannabis already for the year. Last year we did 776. So our growth is on at 28%, especially for delivery. So when it comes to delivery specifically, like come days like yesterday, where it was raining all day, our deliveries went through the roof. Very happy because we want to come out of our house or what have you. So we offer that convenience that, if you're at home studying for a test or for disability, people just can't come out, right? Same thing with returning citizens who may can't leave the house but they have medical issues, right? Engaging them where they're able to get the medication and not be penalized because they can't leave the home.
Awesome, thank you. We're gonna welcome Mr. Woods back to the stage for the legal board. You can clap for him.
It's afternoon now, right? Good. Oh, okay. Flavor one, right? We, like, came home, did all the good stuff, couldn't get a job, decided that I would use some of my expertise to build a cable company, something that could employ returning citizens. If you look at slide 2, can I get that slide 2? Yes. your opportunity is to go build your own business very quickly thereafter. Right? So we don't want it to happen where, you know, you're sitting around working for us for 5 years. That's not the objective. Okay, the objective is to make sure that people are building out. One of our, next slide, please. Okay. Flavor One sauces, fully organic. We buy from locally sourced organizations, and we buy from the farmers markets. We buy from the farms that are here in Maryland and in DC and some in Northern Virginia. Our philosophy is to get the best locally grown products so you can have the best product in your house. We don't do any preservatives, right, and everything is fully organic with the actual product. Problems that we have, right? One is distribution, okay? How do we get our services and our sauce to people that need it and want it, right? The second one is scale, okay? How do we make sure we don't do that internet bust thing, right? Where it's like, okay, everybody's on Instagram, everybody's moving, and the next thing you know, you don't have enough product to supply, right? So we're looking at our scale increase as well. And then our target audience. So if you go to the next slide, we'll talk a little bit about what our target audience is. Our distribution. How do we solve our problem with distribution? We use Uber and Lyft drivers, okay, who are off duty, okay? And so what we do is we have them deliver to specific geographic locations, right? So we have deliveries on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And Tuesday is DC, Wednesday is Virginia, Thursday is Maryland, okay? And so we have those Uber and Lyft drivers that does two things for us. One, it decreases our overhead because we don't have to cover for insurance, we don't have to own no vehicles, and it's everything is on them as far as the distribution is concerned, and as far as the vehicle is concerned. Target audience, 18 to 44, right? Both between 18 and 44 have disposable income. They're not really caring about how much they're spending, right? They're just buying stuff that they want. So we're at the 18 to 44 mark. Both been in like our sauces. We have 4 different sauces that we're doing right now. Question? Yes.
When you speak on wraparound services, when they come home,
Yes.
what services are you purchasing?
Whether it is addiction services, whether it's resources, what they need in terms of food, housing, shelter, transportation, right? Those are the wraparound services that we talk about. It's mental health stuff, and we're connected with a lot of different organizations, right, that give us that information. So we move directly to, as I mentioned earlier in the panel, I'm not going to send them the 425 Brights and Road, I'm going to send them to you directly, right, so that they can get that first-hand help one at a time, as opposed to having to sit around for $5.
So the money is being used to help them get to services?
Which one?
If you mentioned it.
The money I'm going to win?
Yeah.
No.
No.
No, it's not going to be used for the wraparound services. The money I'm going to win, I keep saying that, I'm sorry. The money is going to go to a pitch competition like this for the employees that we already have.
Okay.
Okay, so they'll have a pitch competition. All of that money will go to them. It's not for the company itself.
How do your customers currently find and purchase your sauces?
Most of it has been word of mouth, and some of it has been internet stuff. But we've got a client base of over 150 customers that we cater for already, and those are our primary customers at this point. Is that it? Any other questions? Thank you.
Awesome. I am going to welcome Kevin Land to the stage for Building Block Services LLC. we are currently serving 115 participants, and these are all Baltimore City residents, and we have served already 70. The outcome is economic self-sufficiency and community resilience. So, why entrepreneurship? These are a couple of statistics all about what RIDE is about. 80% of former inmates engaged in entrepreneurship programs reported lower recidivism rates, and this is from the Institute for Justice Research and Development at Florida State University, as well as a statistic that talks about basically Maryland's PhD programs, including those with entrepreneurship components, found that participants in these programs, I'm clicking something else, compared to those who not participate, that impact is entrepreneurship reduces recidivism, creates jobs, and strengthens community ties. Okay, all right. So basically, entrepreneurship is called 10.0 because it consists of 10 modules. And these modules start off from basically talking about your niche, your business idea, to all the way going through and cultivating your business concept into a Maryland registered business. Basically, we start off with, of course, that mindset piece, developing goals and affirmations, and ensuring that you have the mental resilience for the program. And then we move on to developing business concepts as well as creating a business account. You are able to receive mentoring. All right, so the program is a success. Out of our 7 participants, we've had 100% create their successful, accurate LLCs. 92% attendance rate, and that's simply because they are doing what they want to do. They're building their own business. And 90% have created business plans to completion with projections of all the components that are required for funding. So here are our key partners you can't see, but Live Plan right there, that's the logo, the name is missing, was there, but it's dark. And they are our, we partner with them to allow the participants to have free 2 months access to Live Plan. Live Plan is a software that supports business plan and pitch creation. And so therefore they have access to that. And those are other key partners. People come out and speak to our participants, become mentors of our participants, as well as the main one that is missing, one of the main ones, it's not missing, but SCORE. So when they leave us for the 5 weeks, they move on to keep and maintain SCORE mentors. All right, so why entrepreneurship? 10.0 stands out again. We meet face-to-face with all of the academic curriculum is on Teachable, so they're able to have access with it to at home. Live Plan, again, as I mentioned, comprehensive support, tailored assistance, and expert partners.
So how do you sustain this financially?
So we have a contract now for $200,000 in regards to being able to support upcoming entrepreneurs from the ages of 18 to 24. So I'm looking for having returning citizens participate in this. I'm also expecting, I'm a grant writer as well, so all of these supports are coming through in regards to the Truist grant and some other things that I see in our near future to sustain this process. Because the key is to give them the catalyst to be able to be successful entrepreneurs by starting them off right with the correction or the correct creation of the LLCs, business accounts, and things of that nature.
Is your entire program virtual, or is it in person?
No, it's face-to-face. However, all of the information from each session is supported through Teachable as well. This learning management system like Thick or Canva, things like that. And so it's face-to-face, but they're able to retrieve all the documents of the sessions through Teachable.
How is your program able to support returning citizens with some of the obstacles they may have with attending your program?
I'm glad you asked that into that, but also with this program, they have a $100 transportation stipend to get wherever we are in the city. The programs are designed to be in the 7 regions of Baltimore City, so that if you live in a certain place, you're able to go to a closer entrepreneurship 10.0 program. We also pay them an hourly stipend of $15 an hour, so they have the opportunity to garner a business check. Their first business deposited into the bank account of $300 if they attend all 20 hours of the program. And we do snacks. What else do we give? Yes. So snacks, money, and transportation support, so that we can kind of mitigate some of those. We're looking into being able to provide daycare support as well.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
quietest the whole time back there. Good job, guys.
That was the ones that waited for us.
Huh?
They were the ones that waited for us.
Yes, they were. Good job in the back. I see y'all.
Good job.
All right. Serious.
Hello, I'm Jasmine. I'm a business owner of two. I have His and Hers Faithful Cleaning, and I have His and Hers Nation. His and Hers Nation is a dispatch company where I dispatch trucks with CDLs or without CDLs. And right now, I'm in negotiation with a cannabis company to hire at least 4 drivers to just, to drive and deliver their cannabis to their company, to their participants. With my cleaning services, I've been in business with that for over 60 days now, which has shot through the roof. I am a past incarcerated female. I was locked up in 22 for 8 months. Came home, did something dumb, and went right back to jail for 6 months, and I left my children out to be with my mom. I have a fiance that's incarcerated as of right now, and it was me and his idea to start our cleaning business. And then I was like, this is not enough, let me do something else, and I got in contact with the dispatcher that opened up and told me I was invited to take her classes. So everything is going good, but it's not where I wanted to be at because I'm helping myself. So that's about it. So right now, as far as my cleaning company, I have 2 contracts that is Tuesdays and Thursdays, which is good. And I also work for another lady, but I want to quit, but I don't want to quit because I need a social life. So that's everything is good. I'm gonna shoot from where I'm at to now. And yeah. Far as if or when I win, it's 2,500. So 1,250 will go to the His and Hers Nation, and that is to start at least renting out a truck so that I won't have to only find people that has their own trucks. I can support them. And my first first people is past incarcerated individuals that has a hard time of getting a job or being judged. I have no discrimination, background friendly, drug friendly. You get the work done, and we are together. For either of your businesses, what are 3 things you would say you need to move them forward? So starting with the cleaning business, I need more chemicals. I need to get out more and expand. I have history of PTSD and anxiety, so I shut myself in. But cleaning, transportation, I can take them, there, but if they want to go themselves, gas, stuff like that. Or as the dispatcher, I need trucks, insurance, clothing, or as uniforms and stuff like that, so that if they work under His and Her Nation, they would be a village of myself. So it's not working for me, it's working with me, we're gonna work together.
So first, congratulations on moving your life forward after the incarceration. What partners or what other skills are you working on to be able to sustain this business and move this business forward?
So right now, only partnership I have is with Pivot. It's a re-entry for women's group. And once they found out about my cleaning business, that's where my contract's at right now, or it's my cleaning business. With my dispatching, I've been specific target audience, and that's what it takes to be really successful in any industry. So I commend you for that. I do want to know what equipment do you have now, and what equipment do you feel you need in order to grow your business?
Right now, we got monster pickup trucks. It's about $5. We got a new one with an infield bed. But in my research, I found out that a lot of these trucks not gonna help you. You got hundreds of tons of trash. I did a house. I underestimated there was so much trash. I thought we put the 30-foot dumpster still a lot of stuff. So a lot of times we don't need a big dumpster. So we need straps, or we need bags. We got house, safety. Straps, bags. The trucks help out, but a lot of times it's so loud we gotta use cameras stuff. So we're gonna need straps, gloves, impact gloves are very important when you're doing this type of work. And make things safe for us.
I don't have a question, but I'm proud of you, Randy. So Jackson, make sure you connect with Randy because he can tell you about all the services that he's received throughout it. That's all I think.
All right, friends, let's hire. Okay, good. Yes. Please welcome the hire Green and the role models for the business.
Hello, my name is Lakanya Green. I'm 26 years old. I'm a manager and owner of Rolling Manor Supportive Living. Right now, supportive living, the money that I would get from you all is what I would put into the list of things that I need to get fixed. I want to get a stair glide. I have 3 residents right now, and they will eventually turn over to like Medicaid leave of clients, but I just had to get what I had to get at the moment. I house different people, so I've got people from shelters, people that are recovering, addicts, people that have alcohol abuse, people that have records of different things. I house those people where they can't really find anywhere to go. I named my business after my grandfather. I was with him. We moved him with us, and it was last day because the climate of his house. So I saw that very straight on. So that's what inspired me to do this. It ain't anything to him. I have other grandparents that are getting older, but they're not ready to be in the home yet. But I want to get that ready and available to them when they are ready. I wrote a bunch of stuff down, but I'm not even reading from it. Okay. We offer different outdoor activities. We offer at least one outdoor activity a month, whether that's the movies, out to eat. It's the summertime, so we went to the pool. Different things that we offer. We have 4 meals a day because I know that 3 is typically enough. We have 4 meals a day. We
that was very sad. How when they stopped us in the bathroom, just watching like when we had to take him from the prison, he was at this getting bid stores and stuff. And I just want to assure none of that was on in my place. Not with the rest of my grandparents that I had, not with my mother, not with my father, not with anybody else's families either.
I'm sorry. So you have 3 residents now, is that your full capacity, or do you have?
No, I spent all my money on a 4-bedroom house. I have a 4-bedroom basement. It has a huge backyard and front. It's a 1 floor, it's 1 room on my main floor, it's 3 rooms upstairs. It's 3 bedrooms in the house, it's a builder room on the main floor. It's a room that I'm gonna put 2 people in that is on the second bedroom, and it's a whole bedroom, it has a stand-up shower and everything else that accommodates them. I just need to stabilize. I just need a few more things, and then I can go through with licensing, and I have to make sure my policies and procedures, my books are right. I got to do every single tedious thing with that, so that's all what I would need, but I'm not gonna do. I can serve this 7. And then once when I hit 8 is when we need a sprinkler system, so. And the sprinkler system started at $20,000. So I'm gonna try to find me a building. I plan on finding me a building, the old building, and then starting something from there. Knocking the walls down and getting a big building with at least 20+ beds and bedrooms.
So, question, before you go, first, congratulations on even moving this dream forward, because it is a lot of work.
Yes, especially by myself. I've been trying for a long time, and I was thinking that I was going slow. But
No, we want to praise God, there you go. The 3 people that you have now, are they your only source of funding for this home?
so my goal was to have 4 people because I sent this over, and I got the house in June. I furnished it. I had to quit my job. I was actually working and saving up my money too. I saved up like $15,000 of my own money, and I didn't know it was going to go that quick. I didn't know it was going to go that quick, so I had to pay like $6,000 to move in there, and then once they know that she doing the business, they automatically think that I was already getting money, but I was working. So, what do you think? It's okay. I was working and I was saving up, I was saving up my money. I furnished my clothes. Now I'm still buying things as they go, because I need all the money, so with my next month, I just spent my money. So I know next month, I won't even have to worry about finding extra money. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted, was to not have to keep trying to figure out how I'm adding more money to my rent.
So am I hearing you correctly that you're going towards licensing?
Yes, that's why I opened it now for supportive living, because I needed the money to put into it. But I couldn't at first because of the rent, but now I got my people, so my rent is up and I got Amen.
All right, and last but not least, we turn the Daniel McGriff for Ace Moving and Hauling.
I wasn't all the way prepared for this, so I had this, I just fly in now. How you doing? My name is Nathaniel McGill. My company is Ace Moving and Hauling. We move people, we do trash removal. Let's see, I'm reading off this paper real quick, sorry. We provide moving service and trash removal for clients in the DMV area. Now we're starting small programs to help the youth grow knowledge of doing things that can help their mindsets of becoming entrepreneurs in life. Our program offers showing them how to use tools for handyman service, also how to live properly, and we teach them manners and respect in the process of doing this. So with the money
money, I plan on getting more tools such as power drills, steel tool boots, back brakes, dolly, maybe lawnmower or a bigger truck. So I have 2 trucks now. I started off with one. My business is growing. We've been expanding. Been expanding so much. I had a job and my job let me go because I was calling out too much for my business, but it was all for myself. So business is expanding now. So I just want to teach the younger kids of how. I got 2 younger kids that I'm working with now, and I'm showing them like how to use power drills and how to live properly, just so they can go on when they get older. They can know that they don't have to just count on someone else. They can do things on their own themselves also. And just trying to grow and sorry, I'm used to speaking too much in front of people, but it's doing good though. Business is doing good, but I do want the kids to grow, and this is a way to give back. This ACE comes from a long way. It comes from a name back in the day that I used to use in the street. So I used this when I was younger. It was a street name when I was young as a kid. So now I'm trying to show kids how to better themselves and do better in life also with this. Oh, I do have a contract. I just got a contract with the American Legion doing trash removal also. So that's a good start for me. I got good recommendations. The business is right growing muchly, and I'm just trying to expand more the best way I can with this. I'm looking really to get a truck because I need a box truck now. I got 2 flatbed trucks. I need a bigger truck. And more supplies to help us grow, such as dollies and power drills, just to show them so they can. It's a great thing going on. All right.
So I have a statement that I want to talk what I would strongly suggest is that you and Randy figure out how you all can work together. Y'all still have your separate businesses, but collaboration over competition will always win. And so you guys can be in a position where you can go out for bigger contracts because now you are using the power of both of your businesses to impact and serve more people. And one thing that we don't do as Black people, especially Black entrepreneurs, is understand the power of working together and how much more we can get, how much further we can actually get together versus trying to do it apart. I own a co-working space, and my co-working space would not exist if it wasn't for other co-working spaces that helped me to get to where I am today. And we all work together. So when someone new comes into the ecosystem of co-working and they don't talk to us, we're like, well, you're not trying to win because we're all winning together. And so that's a mindset shift and some actions behind it. And so you guys should definitely talk about what that actually looks like because you can do so much more.
And I just want to know, how are you finding your current customers?
How to find
Yeah, and like finding contracts.
through flyers. I am a American Legion son, so I did get that. That's how I got my
can hear me, right? Luke, you can hear me, right? John, you can hear me, right? Notice, always trying to tell parents what to do. All right, so we deliberate, y'all. See who wins this on Saturday. We're gonna go into our awards. Well, we're gonna wait for you. So let's grab a lunchbox, y'all. Come back. We'll give the judges.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open up the lunch. Yeah, so during the time of deliberations, it's a great time for you to grab a box of lunch and come on back to your tables. As well as all of the participants, please make sure that you connect with me directly after, as we have resources for you. Thanks. Go eat.
So we'll get started in 10 more minutes, everybody. 6 minutes. 6 minutes. Sharp down. All right, so we always recognize 2 individuals. We recognize an entrepreneur. Randy, you were one. Actually, you were first. Yeah, correct. You were first. He's the first. He's the first to receive the award. And we also recognize an organization that's supporting formerly incarcerated individuals as well, that's making that impact. So this year, as I indicated, Tashika and Tanika, so Tashika has been with us for 4 years, right? 4 years. She started off with the hair care, creative product. No, she started off with making the wigs for women who hair loss. And she was the first one that won our pitch competition that we had in our entrepreneurship training program. So she's been around. This year we were introduced to her sister, Tanika, and they both are working together individually on their own business, but they also have a business together that Luvon connected them to. What's that business?
Estimated business.
Estimated business. So they're providing support for that type of business. So we really wanted to recognize, Tashika, but we felt about Tanika. We said, let's just recognize both of them together. So let's give it up for both Tanika and Tashika. All right, and as you can see, we also recognize an organization that's impacting individuals who are formerly incarcerated. And I met this person, I always get the name of the organization I belong to. AMSA, right?
Are you talking, I'm talking about, we help create.
No, I know your organization. What's the organization that we meet with?
We help create that.
Oh, yeah. But what's the name? Is it Maryland? Yeah, I always get the hour. There we go, Maryland.
It was created out of the district, the U.S. District Attorney's Office. So it started there.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that's where I met her. And we had an interview with her on our podcast, so check that out. So, the work that she's doing, and the impact that she's making in the community, not just for returning citizens, but legislation, as you heard, Dr. Carter talking about legislation. How many individuals are thinking about that? Especially from an entrepreneur standpoint, how many individuals are thinking about that? So we want to recognize you for the work that you've done. So without further ado, please welcome.
So I just want to say thank you very much. This is an absolutely beautiful award, that's number one. And number two, it does not take years for legislation to be passed. Every year, helping ourselves to transform along with other partners, we have been passing legislation for impacted people. This session, we will be working on the tax issues that impacted people have. That's number one. And number two, I need to go back and find out with Chaz Lewis in the Maryland Assembly in terms of entrepreneurship and what his bill is actually trying to do and to add to it if we need to add to it or not. Thank you very much.
All right, I'm gonna turn it over to the judges. Y'all have the hard decision to make as it relates to who's gonna win this money. But I'll say this, and I'll leave this up to the judges. Because I don't make a decision, the judge made a decision. These three people here, it was anybody, they made a decision. Everybody's a winner. All right, everybody's a winner. And of course, you know, we have resources available at the Entrepreneurial Development and Assistance Center. And now, I'm kind of jumping ahead, now we have a returning citizen entrepreneurial center where we have half of that. Come on. Where we're going to provide resources from entrepreneurship training, one-on-one. We now have money to pay somebody like a Charmaine to come in and do the accounting. You know, so you know we have that now. We have one-on-ones. We have specialized training. Newmont left and Tony left as well. So we have specialized training for those individuals who want to go into a particular specialty. So we have somebody that's going to be doing barbering, somebody that's doing, I'm going to say hair, what is it called? Alopecia. Be training other women and men who want to interested in going into it. Newmont is going to be doing the rehab piece. We also have, who am I forgetting? T-shirt University, you know, helping individuals do drop shipping. We also have, who am I missing? Inspection, you know, helping individuals go into the home inspection industry as well. You know, so those are some of the specialties. And, you know, I do a podcast along with Bluemont. We now are going to create a station where formerly incarcerated individuals can have their own show on the station. That's what the mission life is doing. You know, so yeah, so if you are interested in doing that, I put the QR, actually, where's the QR code? It's in the back. Just scan it. If you want to have your own podcast on the station, you know, please click on the QR code. If you probably say, well, I don't know anything about podcasting. Well, that's why we're here to help. We're here to assist you with that. All right? So without further ado, judges, you all want to say anything?
All right, well, I typically judge and fish competitions because they are so hard. You all did an amazing job. You actually outdid yourself today. I was very pleased with what you all did. So for those that don't know, I'm Dr. Samira Lucas. I am the co-founder of the National Association of Mom Entrepreneurs. And so we provide entrepreneurship training and resources to mothers in underserved communities, and we've been doing it for 10 years. Jasmine and myself co-founded the organization 10 years ago. So
activities that we're doing, that's dedicated to entrepreneurship training. We'll have that done by October. Right on that. Working on the curriculum. You can meet one-on-one with a business advisor, hosting a podcast, and we have vocational training as well. So those are some of the things that we're doing over the next year. We were awarded funding by the Small Business Administration, as well as the logo on there. But we'll continue the work that we're doing as well with the MBDA, Minority Business Development Agency, the funding that we receive from them to make sure that we're making a positive impact on those individuals that are formerly incarcerated. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank the panel, Paul again for coming all the way from wherever he was.
North Avenue.
Say it again.
He was on North Avenue. He was on North Avenue.
All the way from North Avenue, see what, east or west?
That, the West Baltimore.
Okay, west. So he was over west. So thank you for always being there, and thank you for participating. Everybody who came through, you could have been doing something else. Today's a great day. It's always a great day. You know, so thank you all for participating. Again, if you want to reach out to us, we have our QR code. It's on the back table. Support the individuals who are on the panel, Dr. Carmen, Levon, and John. Support their individual businesses. And this is the time for you on the network as well. Thank you again. We pulled this off, y'all. We want to continue to do this work, and hopefully there's a collaboration here with individuals that you can work together with. With that said, we still have the graphic recording, right? The graphic recording going on. Hopefully you all took pictures before. Now you can see what's being done. See it color? Colors? Yeah, there we go. See it colors. All right. So we want to thank them for coming by. And again, y'all, thank you. This completes the program. You know, grab another box lunch if you need to. And do some networking, y'all. Thank you.